folks, welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys. We are kicking things off with Kfluffy.npo-Friends. And yes, I'm recording these back to back to back because I needed to get a bunch of videos done at once. And so you may recognize this. This is his build from the Gauntlet this past weekend. Well, I say past weekend because I'm coming to you from the future, but I'm actually in the present. It's very confusing. Anyway, remember, surplus lane is where the field lane used to be surplus. You play a card there, and you get a discount of 1 to a random card in your hand. Tests us. And firebrands obviously are great for this because they cost nothing, and every time you play one, you get a bonus to the cards in your hand. And if I recall, we almost got to see a great combo. Unfortunately, I was having a conversation. It was somebody that it was my first time meeting them, and so I didn't want to. They don't quite know that I don't respond, so I didn't want to make it seem like I don't. I was ignoring them. For those of you who don't know, just a reminder. If you contact me while I'm here, if I'm not watching a game or playing a game, meaning I'm not going to mess up the, clutter the screen, I'm happy to converse and have conversations in between games and things. But if you happen to catch me while I'm playing a game or watching a game, I probably won't respond immediately because I am trying to keep the game screen clean so you can see as much as possible. So, NPO, Kfluffy up against it with Heybear CL. But yeah, we saw would have seen, had I not been talking, the Doomcrag into Grotwood Ambusher combo, which is fantastic. That's a board clear, and it has a 4/4 and a 4/2 on the board. So Heybear probably running. Oh,
my bow is ready.
Gonna ping that Harpy. Boink! Harpy goes down. Earthbone is going to. I was going to say hit, but looks like Heybear does not want to break a rune, which is a wise call, I should say. Dark Seducer. Very dark. With her shredded hula hula dress and ridiculous headwear. I don't know who exactly she would be seducing, but I'm guessing that's just how the name goes.
Careful there.
And Heybear finding a way to give Kfluffy 0 health from that Grotwood Ambusher, though, coming down. Bam! This is a gauntlet where she really gets to shine. I remember getting her. I think you get her just in the course of playing the game initially.
With our Lord.
And I remember I'd play her in decks, but I think the only other time I've seen her play is when it's a prophecy deck, like a prophecy heavy deck. Like she doesn't get organically put in there. But Kfluffy making her use of her in this Doomcrag deck, which is just a fun deck to make use of a lot of ping creatures that don't get a lot of love in general. So unfortunately for Heybear, he's not going to find a way to get out of giving Kfluffy some nice drain. And thanks to Lucien Lachance, once again making a fantastic appearance in this game where he otherwise is rarely seen before. Okay, I'm going into Irish there. Yeah, I'm gonna admit it. My French accent, such that it is good for like haws and oui. Even that's not great. So no, I have a crappy French accent. Probably one of the few that I just can't even get a grip on. Most of the other accents I can at least say a few words. And yet we're seeing it again. It's become very popular. Brotheridge, I blame you. You ran it that day, and it just woke up the monster of the Supreme Atromancer into a crap ton of Nord Firebrands deck. But it's actually great to see. But I am loving Lucien synergy here. And Sharpshooter's going to come down, ping the Atromancer. And yeah, we're just seeing this deck. There's some great synergy here with Lucien. And in fact, this is all crammed. It seems like there's a ton of options, a ton of synergy here. It's all crammed into a 50-card deck. It's a two attribute deck. I don't know if that makes it a 50 card. 8, 9, 10. I don't know how to see. That shows you what cards are played. It doesn't show me. Wait, how do you? Aren't you supposed to be able to hover over? Why is that grayed out? Because, okay, I know he can look and see how many cards are in the deck, but I cannot. As a humble spectator, apparently I am not I'm not privy to such information. If I am, please let me know. I'd love to learn how to do it. I just don't know what I have to hover over or click on in order to see how many cards are in the deck. Oh wait, there we go. You just hover over the deck. So yes, he is running. It is a 50 card deck. 32. Wait, 36 plus 3. Oh, hold on. Is this gauntlet? Does it only need to be a 40 card?
I fight with the fervor of the wild.
Because he's got 35 there. Plus 4 on board would be 39. And there's something I'm apparently missing. But as I was trying to figure all of that out, awkwardly, yeah, it looks like these are 40 card decks. But as I was trying to figure all that out, Heybear made a good show. He pretty much stripped away all the great stuff Kfluffy had going on there. Was not able to take a significant amount of damage off, and he might have left. He had 15 there. Had the Orc Clan captain, he might have been able to do a little bit more. I mean, he might have been able to close it out. I don't know. I wouldn't presume to say so. But that's going to do it.
I fight with the fervor of the wild hunt.
Interesting. It is possible. Kfluffy has got a daily quest. But in any case, very well done. Great to see that deck in motion. We are queued into Kfluffy's next game. I figured when we get the chance to spectate, I might as well go ahead and see what's going on. It's a fun deck, and I don't mind, watching 2 or 3 of the same kind. Especially, we've got, like I said, we've got a lot of people in the mix that are playing, but trying to catch them in the middle of their game. I knew. Oh, he's trying a new deck this time, is what he said. Okay. I wonder if he means. Okay. It worked well so far. So this is a new deck. This is a new build. This deck is a new build for him.
They will perish in flame.
But we've already seen it in 2 games do very, very well. Not surprising. This is a gauntlet, which those of you who do not know or may not know, this is Kfluffy's domain. He will acquiesce that there is somebody else. I cannot remember the name. I believe it begins with a C. Who he would say is at the very, very top of that pyramid. But that player, as I understand it, has kind of taken a hiatus for whatever reason. And so, if it was a contested position, it now leaves Kfluffy very near to the top, if not at the very top. I would say, from what I've seen and seen of his record, definitely puts him at the top. But anyway, great player in general, and excels, I would say, at gauntlets. Finishing, amongst the top in pretty much every one. So we're not seeing any of the cool combo pieces just yet, although a 7-cost Nighttown Lord is pretty darn sweet. And here's the funny thing.
If I fall.
Okay, that's not fun anymore. But no, he can squish. He's got a 0. So here's the funny thing. So Nighttown Lord, he can squish this guy, the Thane guy, and in doing so, gives himself the health so that he can actually trigger him as well. It's just craziness. That is just craziness right there. Oh, it's against Rimmon. Hang on. Sorry, I just noticed it was against Rimmon, who we've just started watching as well. So we're getting a double header. So we are seeing both at one time. So Kfluffy has, I would say decided advantage. We got the Mulligan, Gatekeeper, Skeever. So they're kind of similar in certain ways, with the pings. But Kfluffy is on lethal pings, and Rimmon is on ping injury and finish. I think he's running the finish off. I'm getting a little confused now, but I think he's got. Oh, Jshadz was running.
The day is mine.
They will perish in
the
flame.
ambush. I don't know. I'm getting it all confused now.
Ranks, let nothing through.
We've seen Rimmon do very well, and we've seen Kfluffy do very well. So this should be a good matchup. It's very well contested. Both have some big players in the wings. Vigilant Giant and Belly G for Rimmon, and Belly G and Nahagliv for Kfluffy. So we will see how they use these assets and how they match up. Odaving, Rimmon's got Odaving now. Not on curve, but close enough. We're definitely in the late game stages, so Odaving not doing giving the brave treatment and showing up in the first two cards of the deck, coming in late in the game when you want him to. And we know that's going to cancel out Kfluffy's Belly G, which we might see the volleyball. I doubt it, but we might see the well. So Kfluffy can.
Tests us.
I was gonna say he could Belly G and then squish, or he could. Yeah. The problem is every card there that Kfluffy would bounce has a summon effect, a pretty decent one as well. So yeah, I think Nahagliv is the best one there. Cannot be targeted by Rimmon's Drive Mad. Odaving does not have the discount. Even if he did get a discount this time, it won't. Okay, so he will be able to roll out Odaving next turn. So if Kfluffy does flood the board, I mean, if he plays Markarth and Belly G, I don't think he can play Belly G, or he's going to play Belly G, which is very smart. Very smart. Of course, he doesn't know what Rimmon's got in his hand, but Rimmon knows. And Rimmon is probably he's going to try to look to close this out because he knows he can drop that Odaving next turn and wipe out the Bannerman. But he also knows that he can play Elena. All right, so he is looking. He does. So yeah, we probably will see Odaving now. Gosh, I never get tired of being wrong, folks. I never get tired of it. That's kind of my jam. I guess he's using Odaving. He's keeping Odaving just to be safe. And really, this is something that I've said many times. It's hard to see it unless you can see what the player has in their hand. When I play, it always seems they have the right card at the right time. I think what you get is a situation where the better players, they hold on to those cards specifically. Like for me, I would have said Odaving for sure. Wipe out that board, everything at the same time, put the big 10 body down, done and done. But Rimmon saw the wisdom in holding on to that. So now that Kfluffy is playing out a good chunk of cards here, he's going to be able to close that out. Although, yeah. Well, no. No, he won't because... Oh, I was going to say he could use... I mean, his... Oh, gosh. I forget his name. Leecham, Lucian Leecham will survive the Odaving
I'll kill you where you
Purge. And Kfluffy can bounce it. But if he still had the Squish the Wimpy, he could have Lucianed it. So yeah, Lucian will survive. But yeah, Kfluffy's definitely on the ropes here. Rimmon just really pushing. And then Dark Seducer. Is that Earthbone Spinner? Rimmon's got the Earthbone Spinner for the win. Well fought by both. I mean, very quickly too.
For the
yes, I was saying the same thing, Rimmon. Good games, good game. We are back with Thiago, the blacksmith, and his 85 plus card. I think it's 86, but it may be 85 card Singleton Telvanni deck as he goes up against Mikosa 1, the Immortal. And this is, as of now, the last recording I have from him that he has sent me. So hopefully we'll have more in the future, but for now, this is the last of it. Up against, I might think Goblin Scout based on that. So he played a card that has reach, and he was very intent on getting rid of Drain. So I'm guessing this is going to be an aggro Goblin or aggro deck, probably Goblin. At the same time, I don't know of too many aggro goblin decks that go on to turn 4 without. So either he has a clunky hand, or I was totally off. Okay, yep, this is not Gabo. Nor is it probably aggro. So, totally wrong! Totally wrong. Fantastic. Darn you, Mikosa, why didn't you make me look amazing? Great synergy there. I didn't even realize that. It didn't even occur to me that Morokai and Nakrim are undead. And that may be one of the only. I mean, that makes Nakrim even better. Even though he doesn't, he hasn't got played in forever. It does make it a little bit better because you can draw him on point. And I don't know. I don't think I don't think Singleton necessarily makes him more effective. But there you go. Thiago thinking several turns ahead. Probably thinking, okay, I have Galeon in hand. What am I going to want to have more of? And identifies Morokai. I think that's a little bit. Maybe it's not going to be as crucial. Although, hang on. I was going to say as crucial because it doesn't look like Mikosa is running an aggro deck, so Thiago may not need to recover those runes, but really depends on what happens here. If he just goes, yeah, okay. So Thiago was right, read the room, read the situation right, and realized, yeah, I'm probably this is going to turn into an assault pretty quick. So he will be able to trade into the big lion guy thing, bolt the Hist Mage, and trade in, leaving Mikosa with just the Necro on board. And he could also play his Marsh Blade, which is now past the 7-turn mark, or 7 Magicka mark, which would allow it to draw cards next turn. Interesting. Okay, so he's, I guess, more. I guess that's better Magicka efficiency. So he's okay. Okay, yeah. So you can't argue with the outcome. He has a one more card on board than my way would have done, and same result. So well done, Thiago. I wonder if my play had gone through his mind first. He's like, no, I can think of something a little bit better than this. Usually that Vampire Lord would be kind of a make you a little bit nervous seeing it on board this late into the game. But one, it doesn't have the breakthrough. It's, I think, 7 or 8 Magicka off from being able to do that. But also there obviously is no rage in Mikosa's deck, as it does not have strength. So Thiago not really having to play around Unstoppable Rage for a multitude of reasons. I mean, Rage on 8/8, that'll clear out your lane, but you don't have to worry about an OTK. And he's holding on to that Morokai. Probably wants at least another rune break, although, well, there we go. Mikosa has to break a rune to get his Pilfer in. I wonder if he's just now realizing that. I mean, I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I've done that many times where I'm like, I'll play a card and be like, oh crap, I wasn't looking at the total. He was probably thinking, okay, this is a good card to play now. Shoot, that's 21. He does get the rune. He gets another card. Was it really worth it? But you played the little guy. Yeah, might as well. Now he has Magicka. Now, okay, fresh start. All right, so like the other game, this one's starting to get more interesting. It does give Thiago another card. So now we might see Morokai come out. Again, really making use of Thum Thom Fang, or whatever the heck that orc sorcerer's name is. He probably gets more awesome procs from him than I've seen anybody else get. With regularity. It's like almost like every game he gets a really good 1/1 out of it. And part of it's because people don't want to use a silence on him. Because, the amount of times that he can be really useful, really get you something good, is not. You have to really plan and strategize. And Thiago's really good at finding that unique legendary, or high value card or some card with a great summon to make him worthwhile. 4/6 is not a bad body. But that's what I appreciate about players like this, and there's many of you out there that I've seen your games where you play a card that I wouldn't usually play or I haven't thought about playing. He's gonna squish him. Oof. Uses strength against him. That's a bummer. He must be getting another 1/1 because Mordecai is not going to work for him. Mordecai's effect only triggers if you are running singleton. So we'll see. Yep. But you play these cards or you play these decks that I wouldn't think about playing. Oh, there we go, and now he is. See, so we just saw that's the danger of running that filler there before you can have that effect go off. He gets silenced or removed. Well, silenced, I guess, and lost the value. But I think he really only had he had spawned a copy of the 1/1. That's what I think we were going to end up with, which would have been probably the humblest and least amazing. Maybe he could have done it tonight, Talon Lord, but as a 1/1, I don't know what that would have accomplished. Because unless he's running one of the very few beefy weapons. All right, so we see the Elite Guardians. Surprised we didn't see this in the Empire game. I would be very surprised if they were not being run by Campwick, the player from before. I just don't think they ever came into play. Yeah, we're gonna use the silence. Snake Tooth gonna be useful. Yeah, you probably want to use it here. Mushroom Tower. And as Dano pointed out, like, oh, all right, so that with if that 1/1 wasn't there, I think that would be a more tempting play, but the chances of it hitting a bad target on that is probably too high. And he can play it after. Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately, the Leaf Lurker can't kill anything. But good to have that there. And that, Dano pointed out, running Set's Masterwork does kind of jeopardize the amazingness of the Onslaught, because the Siege, because you may pull that instead of the Mushroom Tower. And Mushroom Tower really, Siege can swing a game. It can have an impact. If you're really close, if it's neck and neck, a Siege can turn the tables. But in a game like this, well, Mikosa's a little low on cards, but so he uses it to get the health gain. He still does. Mikosa does still have those two big cards on board. But like I was saying before, I love it when you guys play these cards that, like when I see it, I don't really consider playing it myself. I had never considered playing it myself. I see it and I'm going, I want to use Fim Fang Foom or whatever his name is now. Alright, Mikosa, not with a lot of cards, but just seems to have the right ones and is gonna push the damage. Luckily, Thiago with the answers. Been holding on to that for quite some time now. He's got the mace. Aha! He's gonna bring back some of his own. Guardian, kabam, and kabam. And unlike... Ooh. I don't know if he runs a copy in that. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Wow. Now you all probably saw that. You all probably saw that coming a mile away. It took me by surprise. I wasn't quite paying attention to what exactly Thiago had in his hand, but that Mana Marco, hero of the game. Hero of the game. Enabled all those wonderful things to happen. I don't know. I haven't seen Thiago's deck list for this. Thiago, you need to send that to me. You told me you were going to send it to me. There's people asking for it. Well, I want to send it to him. But I told him he didn't have to if he didn't want to. So I haven't seen the deck list. So I don't know if he runs one copy of that in his own deck but he certainly has made great use of it against Mikosa. And let that be a lesson. Do not rely too heavily on any one particular card, whatever it is. Hand of Dagoth, or Aelid Guardians, or anything else, because that is what can happen. Well done, Thiago. Okay, we are in an interesting thing. I'm trying to get the lay of the land here. Leecham 894 got that. Elder KB. Once again, Elder with the crazy name, I guess. It's a smaller pool of folks now that are in this last phase of the gauntlet. So we're seeing a little more regularity. Elder was either earlier in this video or the last video. But to me, it's back to back, so I'm seeing it stands out more. Leecham having a temporary lead with what appears to be a low to the ground orc deck. But Elder with a great board himself, 2 unsilenced Bannermans, a ton of Nord Firebrands. If that last card is well, I don't think so. I was going to say if that last card was a Supreme Atromancer, he is in great shape, but he had to unfortunately sacrifice all those in order to prevent Leecham from closing this game out.
Face my wrath.
Wrath! Face my wrath! And my crazy facial hair, where it looks like I just kind of decided not to shave this particular part of my face, even though it would look good as a full beard. I'm just a weird orc, that's all it is. Anywho. Yeah, Elder in a tough spot. Leecham. Well, I mean, Leecham's in a tough spot as well. Like, when all the dust settled, we came in right at that kind of climactic 2 turns where the board's getting wiped, creatures are being sacrificed. Okay, so it was not as low to the ground as I thought. Like I said, Chieftain's Banner, that's more of a mid-range deck. That is enabling the orcs to have more staying power. Ooh, and a Belly G. Huge. Huge right here. Not going to get played. I'm just telling you, a giant is huge. By default, in point of fact, a giant is huge. So that's all I was saying. I wasn't saying that he was going to play it. I would never imply that. It'd be silly. I just meant he's big, being a giant and all. He'll ragdoll you to heck. He'll ragdoll you into oblivion in Skyrim. Oof. That might be the game. Elder has 3 Firebrands. Wow. Leecham might have dodged a bullet there. Because if Elder had gone face with that... Well, no, okay, maybe I'm misreading the situation. That would have got him down to 14. But he's got 9. Yeah. If that 4 had gone face, Leecham would be down to 9. And he's got 5 damage in hand already. So yeah, that would have been game. That would have been game.
You are outmatched.
Oh, it's game anyway. Okay, so he knew what he was doing. Unfortunately, Leecham is getting the raw end of the Nord Firebrand Supreme Atromancer combo. But it was well played, did very well with the orcs. Great to see the Chieftain's Banner in play. Oh, goodness gracious, we're in for a treat. So, we're watching gratu-Friends, who I believe it was just recently we became acquainted, became friends, and I now have the privilege of watching his games. But we're up against Pickle Stick! I'm pretty sure I have spectated Pickle Stick before. It's just a fun name to say. It's a funny name to read, Pickle Stick. But I might be confusing it. Oh, well, thank you, sir. I might be confusing it because there was... Well, I'll speak to that in a second. One moment. I want to wait for the turn here before I jump into a comment. Alright, so Shadowfen Priest just drew blood there. But yeah, so I was playing Call of Duty, which, I play that occasionally for my I'm a push buttons as part of the channel. And my nemesis, there's always a nemesis in the game. Like somebody who just always seems to have my number or I have their number. We run into each other and I'm always getting killed. And I thought his name was Pumpkin Nipples.
My claws are
And I just thought it was a funny name, like Pumpkin Nipples dog on you, and you know, I mean, it's not the most ridiculous username I've ever seen, but I'm saying his name this entire time, and my nemesis Pumpkin Nipples, and just going through this whole thing, and it isn't until the very end when the stats come up and you see, you know, how many kills everybody had. It was Pumpkin Pimples. So you know, Freudian slip there. I don't know. I think Pumpkin Nipples is funnier, but you know, Pumpkin Pimples is much less obnoxious, for lack of a better word. So anyway, maybe I'm confusing that with Pickle Stick, but I feel like I've seen Pickle Stick before. And even though Gratu has definitely, well, so he's got Lyneth, like, up next on curve, which is great. We might see Sank Pet to try to take out.
For one without scales.
Oh well, thank you very much. Yeah, I need to stick to the commentary here. I was just, you know, does have Lyneth, and he does have Tullius's conscription coming up on turn 12. I don't think Pickle Stick is going to be able to cover the ground before he's able to play that, which hopefully will allow him to close the game out in the next two turns. Unfortunately, that is three turns away, and he does need to address the board, because if Pickle Stick starts assembling a big enough board, that 39 life goes down very quick when you've got a 9 power creature on the board. And you can hit with it and get Gratu back down to 90, not give him any cards, but yeah, he's building up a heck of a board. I mean, Lyneth would be good if he's got something he could play on turn 11 that is going to help things out, like an Ice Storm perhaps. But he's going to go for the guard. We're probably going to see Elena take out that guard. We might even see Pickle Stick start to push here with Mulamir. I don't know that I would advise it. He does have quite a bit of cards in his hand. He doesn't know that Gratu has Tullius's conscription on deck. But I would say one powerful creature would not make it a wise choice. But could have. Oh, and
We must protect the Night Mother.
Aha! So Gratu was saying that he knows that Telvanni is typically not a go face deck, but like me, he is more or less an aggro player, or as he said, an aggro player at heart, and so he's used to going aggro. And I think he might just be conceding it with what's his face coming down, Garnag. With Garnag coming down, that pretty much clinches it. It puts the only 2 cards he has to play offline. And unless he has a way to remove or mummify Garnag, his late game is locked out right before he was going to play it. So this game is decidedly gone south for him. And yeah.
No one gets through.
Okay, still no way. I mean, unfortunately, like, yeah, he needed a Mummified Prophecy or something similar to that in order to get enough Magicka to play Conscription next turn, which I think is his really only out at this point. Smart play by Pickle Stick there, putting Garnag kind of as a way to come, to fight, beat down any guard that Gratu could put, because he could easily play Piercing Twilight over there. And now he can do another Amulet and Piercing Twilight in that Shadow lane. And it's just going to come down if Pickle... Well, we know... I think that's game. Is that... That's 13, 14, 15. Okay, he doesn't have lethal on deck, on board right now. But Gratu sees that it's going that way and concedes. Huzzah! We have caught Dano.NPO at the start of a game. Almost a fresh game completely. He is running a market.
Let's do this.
But we see with cards like Soul Rest Marshal, this is not your common whatever market deck. You've got the Raiding Party there. This is a, I think, decidedly more aggressive market deck than what we're used to seeing. And, you know, usually there was a time where you could say, you know what, I'm up against an assassin. More than likely they don't have support removal. This is a fair, you know, I've got a fair shot of those sticking. But as we've seen, Vicious D and Disassemble have become staples in a lot of decks these days. Probably at least 2 or 3 copies in most of them. So Dano's got to make hay while the sun shines, as the old saying goes, and get the points in while he can. The good news is Soul Rest Marshal will be online next turn, both as as a discounted cost, and because Dano does have the health total, or the superior health total. Unfortunately, well, I don't know if he gets it. Wow, didn't even matter. Seraphat just says, too rich for my blood. We are rejoining Inu for another one of his games from the ill-fated spotlight video that was done. Like I said, we are still going to, in the next week or two, try to get that spotlight video, but for those who didn't see the previous video, did this nice 2-hour-long spotlight video with Inu, had this amazing conversation, but because of the way I recorded it, or didn't record it, it recorded the screen of our conversation in Discord, but it did not record his audio, which made it completely pointless. So I am peppering some of those games from that scenario, from that situation, into the episodes, because I think they were fun games to watch. He's a great player to watch, as you can see. 81 legendary with the card back, which means he has finished a season in the top 100. So definitely somebody with some good decks and good ways of going about it. As I've said before, his tendency, his favorite mid-range, his bread and butter. He's the only person I know who's gone 9 wins in a gauntlet with the Unite deck. Phenomenal. I thought it was phenomenal catching his 3 games. If you go back, you look, there's a thumbnail that has the Unite the Houses card art in the thumbnail, and you're going to see, I think in that one, 3 wins in a row from him with the Unite deck. But so that's his. He's the only person I know that can run Unite with that kind of success, with that much regularity. But aside from that, he loves mid-range. And if you do see some long turns here, just so you know, it's because we were having a conversation. Most of the time, he was very mindful of that, and mindful of the timer, and was able to make his turns in a timely manner. But in the instances where you see it going a little bit long, it's probably because I had him chatting, or I was chatting at him, and he was focused on that, and just the time kind of got away from him. So with all that out of the way, we can enjoy this game against Trumple, the Prophet. I don't know if I would believe a Prophet named Trumple. It just doesn't sound... I just think of Frumpy. That's the Trumple, the Prophet. Although it kind of does sound like trumpet, which, and you think prophets are announcing or proclaiming. I don't know. But Trumple is, as we see, has been a top 10 legendary finisher, as we can see with the card back, currently in the Thief. And Yukinu hanging in that top 100 mark. As we said, it's already achieved that once.
The fighter's guild stands ever ready.
And maybe doing it again this season, but we are going to see how this game goes. So as I said, mid-range. So this is a mid-range deck, but we are seeing the Red Year and Marak. So this is a high-end mid-range. You know, you have some mid-range where you go, okay, I want to go aggro, I want to go at it heavy, but have the ability to shift into a little bit more defensive posture. If I go against like a hard nose, like an Orc deck or a Goblin deck, I can actually kind of back that off a little bit and wait, bide my time until I can turn the corner and pivot into the aggressor. And then you have some aggro decks that go, okay, I want to survive against, or some other mid-range decks where you go, I want to survive against aggro, but I want to be able to compete with control, if there's a lot of control on the ladder. And that's what I think we see here with the Red Year, Dawn's Wrath, Marak. Has a lot of control elements in there. But at its heart, its function, its composition, it is a mid-range deck. At least as Inu says. And I take his word for it. Like I said, a lot of removal for mid-range. But he had a term for this kind of mid-range but I don't remember what it is. Probably going to see that support go away. Yep. So Trumple kind of showing his hand, as it were, that he is running the Soleil Ebonheart that is become pretty common, pretty kind of ubiquitous with games these days.
Show me what you've got. Here.
Although, Naryu, that's a nice...
Praise to our unholy.
Oh my gosh, that is the deadly combination right there. That is devastating. That you are going to be able to buff. Like, you're getting incredible buffs between those two. She already gives a buff and lethal, and then Lucien LeChance gives you an extra buff on top of that. So, Inu, unfortunately, right now is... that red gear is really what he needs to win. The problem is Joram is making it more expensive, so he's going to have to get gone. I think we'll see Belly G crash into him there. It will break a rune, though, because obviously 7 to 4 leaves 3 left over, knocks him from 28 to 25. But really the big concern is LeChance and Naryu teaming up in that field lane, both of them with a lot of health. You know, Lucien doesn't have a lot of power. Naryu does. And she's going to have lethal here and be much bigger if she gets to hit the target. We might see Lucien, though. And no! Chooses to ring out after he was able to... Yeah, chooses the Dawn's Wrath, which I think was unnecessary evil there. You don't need a full lane to make a Dawn's Wrath worthwhile. He really had no way to answer either of those two. But Lucien says, "I'm back again! Ha ha! Lucien LeChance, you cannot hold me off forever. I will come back and I will fight you with my Schwaaard and my cool hooded cloak." I kind of like Lucien. I feel like that would mean I like the deep hood, kind of understated look. The sword, maybe not my particular style, but yeah, I could see myself as kind of a Lucien look. I mean, he's got the Schwaaard. I mean, that's half of the appeal. Inu fortunately has that one ring charge left. He's gonna need to use it on Red Gear. Can't do anything with it now, and anything he plays is gonna get nuked. So, yeah. Alfiq is probably not a great investment. Neither is Temple Conjurer, because really what he needs is something that it can impact the board now. And the closest thing he has is ARoss. He's going to get Dawn's Wrath back, which, considering how aggressive Trumple has been, that's going to be useful after he expends Red Gear next turn. Or he may trade, and if he can leave Trumple with just the Necro in that field lane, if he trades with Lucien, and then just Dawn's Wrath's the Shadow lane, then he may not have to use the Red Gear. But if Trumple floods the board, seeing his chances of... Okay, oh, that changes things. Elena is now buff. And that, I mean, that just completely changed it. Now it has to be Red Gear. I don't think there's any way around it. Dawn's Wrath is not going to get it done. Inu with really low health. The only good news, Trumple is running low on cards, and it's really just gone in on it. And he played her... I mean, he could have played her in the field lane in general, but I think he did that because he didn't want to make... He knows if he was paying attention. That's what I was referring to. Maybe not in this game, so I'm not going to talk about it further. But yeah, never mind. But that is a great card. That's a dangerous card, especially in those colors. You've got Aspect of Racine that can come down as a 12/12 with charge, and Tazcad. There's just a lot of bad cards that can come down with that on the board. It's a fun card. I like having it. I run one copy of it in my Dragon deck because I have several high power cards, which I think is that's what buffs. I think it has to have 6 power or more, and it doubles it, or maybe it goes off cost. I can't recall, and I can't hover over it because this is not a live game. But it's a great card. It's just terrifying to be on the other end of, because a 12/12 Tazcad could come right down right now, and especially with that, shift it over. The game could be over right here. Hits with a 4/4. Okay, Cloud Rest. Coming a little late to the party. Never a bad idea to have an answer for a 4-power creature in a lane that you have nothing else in until that point. But clearly, Trumple did not have the Tazcad. So I'm guessing we will see a Mighty Conjuring in that shadow lane to take away the possibility of a breakthrough charge. But he does still have that 4/4 guard, which would take some of the bite off. It takes obviously 4 damage off, but that still allows a 12/12 Tazcad to get in that damage. However, if we're talking aspect of Racine, and I don't know, maybe he's got that for, he doesn't really have any charged creatures, he just has some static creatures. And Inu, seeing the opportunity, like I can't just hold off. Like, it's tempting if you have your opponent down to 1 or 2 cards to go, you know what, I'm going to hold off. I want to starve them of cards and then I'll make my move. He's going, no, I don't have any way to drain. I don't have any way to heal. Same thing. And he also knows that he can Mirac anything really big that Trumple wants to play.
Try something.
Razzle-ma-dazzle comes down. Okay, so it is cost. I think it's 6 or 7 cost or higher, because Razum obviously is a 4. Oh, and Trumple has the answer to the actual aggression. And is going to take off Inu's biggest piece on the board. That was a great combo for him to have at that point, to be able to get the giant Razzle-ma-dazzle and have the Snake Tooth. Fortuitous, however, it is at this point stalling. The douche comes down and takes away that big threat. So even if Trumple did have a big beefy body to put down there, it is not going to be doubled in size. And he knew really wouldn't have any reason to hit face. He's got such a board. He's got lethal in both lanes. I believe that's 9, 14. Yeah, he's got lethal in both lanes. He doesn't need to push that damage and risk giving Trumple a big card to put down there. That is a big card. Still quite a few off the breakthrough. And Inu is able to pull it off. Well done. And I'm going to take my own advice, as I said before, make hay while the sun's shining, while we've got Dano, and we're on a kind of a rhythm where I know that when he's playing games, we're going to go ahead and catch do a back-to-back. I think it's going to be back-to-back. I'm losing track. I got to be honest, folks, today has been a bliss when it comes to being able to spectate games. There's only 15 people right now, which, is still a lot, but everybody's playing. Everybody's playing. My head's spinning. I'm just like, oh my gosh, who do I pick? Everybody's doing it. I'm not used to having such an abundance of options here. Like I said, I don't see Dano on very often these days, so I'd like to get a couple games with him while I can, and then we'll hop around and see who else is what other shenanigans everybody else is up to. He said this deck's been doing pretty good for him, and I believe it, especially after we saw that turn 4 win last time. Another deck with Markarth Bannerman. Bannerman making a resurgence here, at least in the Gauntlet. We may not see it on the ladder very much, but that combination with
I lurk in the shadows.
Supreme Atromancer and being able to spawn all those nifty Nord Firebrands. And in this case, not necessarily for the Atromancer, but in conjunction with the market, Bannerman has become quite a commodity. And I wonder if he's also running... No, his is a 50-card deck. And yeah, it looks like he's just going to whittle away at Kazantippus. Or Kazantipus. I don't know. The Abominator is now reeling. Although he does have enough to level the playing field on board right now. He can hit for 7. And Dano will be at 16.
Keep your distance.
And without any way to immediately trigger, and the Bannerman is not on board, so without any way to immediately trigger any Nord Firebrands, I don't think, and with his Skulk, silenced, he's got to hope he draws into. Does not. Well, it's a 0 cost, so he's going to get to heal for 2. And he's got Curse Generator in Murkwater Shaman. So we're seeing what I think the spirit of the market deck was when it came out. Like, supports aren't supposed to just be auto wins. They're supposed to be there to help, don't know what more I was going to say about that, but so we're seeing here it being used to good effect. So I think it was meant to help encourage people to play cards that generate 0 cost, like Bannerman, like the Shaman, versus it being a play 0 cost,
One shot.
get your draw, play more 0 cost, and just win the game. Like there's definitely some interchange in a dynamic. And Kazantipus making a mistake that I've made many times, miscalculating the damage. I think he thought he had 3. I think he thought Earthbone was an orc. All right, we've got an interesting development going on here with Brotheridge, who looks to be trying to close it out against Tombot 3000, rank 4 in the ladies. Empire deck. Empire token from the appearance of it. And Brotheridge definitely has the upper hand right now. This wouldn't be so bad if we were on turn, say, 10 or 11, and Tombot could play out a bunch of cards, but this is turn 6. Brotheridge has made a lot of progress before we were able to join the game, and I don't think Tombot's going to be able to play too much that it's going to be able to counteract what's on that board. Is it lethal, though? That's the question. 7, 8, 12. It's exact lethal, actually. And Tombot with no guard to speak of. Nope. Okay, he does now have a guard. A decent guard. He's going to thwart. Now, does that... I don't think that gives him lethal. He's going to be 1 off. So might... I was going to say might take the trade here, but wait. Ankle Snapper?
A fine.
It is. Okay, I didn't recognize it because that's an alternate art version. The ankle snapper for the win!
This episode sponsored by Vincenzo's creation, The Last Dragonborn, an 8-cost Nord, 6/4 stats that upon summoning puts 2 random shouts in your hand and is immune to damage and effects from dragons. Like this card a lot. Again, in lore, very cool, great art selection. I think the colors suit it very well. I think the cost for the stats, I mean, an 8-cost 6/4 is a bit expensive, but, I mean, it is a very specific, it's also unique legendary. I love unique legendaries. It is also, though, very situationally specific. It does give you those 2 random shots, so even if the body gets nuked by a lightning bolt on the next turn, and I mean, an 8-cost with, that low of health, it gets removed by a lot of different things, but it gives you those 2 shouts, which I think matches the lore. I think it's great that the Dragonborn gets a shout. We have a Dragonborn in the game already, but it's like a 3/3, and it gets buffer with shouts, but it doesn't really, and it's maybe immune to dragons. I don't know. It very rarely gets played that I've seen, and when it does get played, it doesn't get to use its effects. So at least on summon, it gets those effects. Immune to damage and effects from dragons. So Alduin doesn't do anything. And Odahviing, even though he does 4 damage, he's not going to do 4 damage to the last Dragonborn, which again, I think fits the lore very well. Like I said, it's very situational, but it is... So it's very powerful in certain situations, and in a lot of situations, it's not really going to do a lot. If you're not up against a dragon deck, if you don't see those Parth loops or those Alduin graveyard things, it's not really going to do a whole lot. But it would really be cool to see a card, especially a Dragonborn with all this pump and this amazing, this gravitas that we see here, be able to see that withstand in Alduin. The only card in the entire game that can withstand a board wipe from Alduin. So Alduin comes down, Jiro Brawl, Nuvabuse, whatever he says, he nukes the board. What the heck? What are you doing there? How are you still standing here? I don't understand. I wiped the board. This is what I do. It's like, nope, I'm 6'4". I'm still going to hit you in the face and probably end the game. So anyway, great card. I think this one is... The first 2 sponsors that we've seen are also from Vincenzo. And I'm just going in order. On the Discord, you can see them. You can get a preview of what we're going to be talking about. I might start jumping around. At some point, there's just a lot of creative folks here. And, that have been doing deck constructions. It just so happens that Vincenzo kicked us off. And so this is the third one on the list, and was also done by him. But I think this one, really, I really wouldn't think to change anything. I think it looks good in those colors, too. I think, you don't want to necessarily make decisions based on cosmetics, but I think just the art of the card, the effect and everything, I don't think it looks good in red and gold. I think it's fine in those colors. I mean, granted, it would actually fit in. Yeah, it's in the colors that you don't typically see your Alduin loops and your, certainly not Parthenax. Those are more in Telvanni or Scout colors, not so much in these. But anyway, great card. So thank you very much, Vincenzo and The Last Dragonborn, for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the games.
Must I do
Alrighty, finally. I've been trying to catch ARoss.NPO, get him in the mix for this video, but every time I queued into his game, it was at the tail end of it. So, happily this time, I have managed to get in at the very beginning. Turn 3, close enough. Oh no. He said I missed the cool moment last game. I did. I came in, I saw he pretty much had the opponent down to practically, I think it was 32 health to 10. Hey, you know, what am I going to do? I don't know that good things are going to come in. And to be fair, the more spectacular plays come with the gravitas of the build-up. You kind of have to be watching the game up to that point, especially if it is, as it looked to be when I was popped in at that moment, a little bit of a lopsided affair. Like you want to be able to do the magnificent play that changes turns the tide, or that puts a nice punctuation on the end. If I come in on like the last play or two, you know, it doesn't necessarily the magic isn't quite there, and that's what I'm trying to give you, the magic, you know. So yeah. Anyway, for those who don't know, ARoss has a Twitch channel. I encourage you to check it out. ARoss.NPO. It is actually the name that you see there, just minus the dot there after Ross. So just ARoss.NPO. You can check him out there. Streams quite often, and you get to see high-level games like this. I'm not sure. This might be his. Is it Lorraine? There's a really cool deck he gave me, and he named it after the subject of a jazz song, a really cool, like, kind of chill jazz song. I think it was like Blue Like Jazz or something. That's actually a book and a movie. Anyway, I think it's a primarily blue. If it's the deck I'm thinking of, primarily blue Talvani deck that is just kind of a chill, just kind of a go about it. Okay, this might be something different. I think this is something different because I don't think Corner Club was in that one. It might have been. It's a while since I played it. Ooh. Almost got his giant beefed up enough, or his Atronach to counter Nahagleave. Not quite though. And is he going to sacrifice? Oh, interesting. Okay. Really? Oh. I don't know if that paid off ultimately or not. Oh gosh, those are they don't look any better as premiums, that's for sure. Ugh, that is a hideous. I want Mechanar to. Oh, maybe I'll put that in there. Mechanar's card with Manic Jack's voice line. Behold, my magnificent monster. Alrighty. So Dead Seal, the celebrity, him and ARoss are about the same when I think they're about as close as you can get to an even playing field when it comes to their ranking as you can get in this, just because of how fickle and how much they sway. But Dead Seal, I didn't think it was going to hit face, but Dead Seal is taking the aggressive angle on this game. And is looking to finish out. I thought he might trade. I wasn't sure if he was going to trade the Nahagleave for the lesser creature, which he did, or if he was going to battle that. But yeah, I think he's just looking to close this out in the next turn, and it was emboldened by having that Harpy in hand. So yeah, I think. I mean, everything else is pretty much equal. Probably does not want to soul split that 8/7. So we might see him ring out the Sorcerer's Negation. I would be very surprised because the only thing it's going to do is take out that Harpy, and there's probably something bigger and better coming on. So yeah, he's going to choose to let it go. Dead Seal might back off now, unless he's got another Harpy. And I think we'll see here. He must have another Harpy, or a way to address that 8/7. Mummify or something. because he's just really looking to push. Okay, yep. Essentially, a giant Argonian Harpy. And that is going to close the game. Gatekeeper, Shrieking Harpy. Shrieking Harpy could lock down Nahag Leave. And yeah, okay. Okay, he's still in it. Could be. Depends what Dead Seal has. Dead Seal has tons of cards. You never know all the kinds of silence and everything you can, but ARoss having a Harpy of his own takes out the one-hit threat. And yeah, I was going to say the Flameslinger, I think he's playing that because of High King Emmerich. That's a 4 damage on summon. Because I'd be very surprised if Dead Seal tries to take out.
Fight well.
Okay, and that's gonna do it.
You must be cleansed.
Wow. Wow. Well played, Dead Seal. ARoss, good game. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and grab another ARoss back-to-back. I figure after the loss that we had to show and missing out on a really cool combo that from a game that I briefly ducked into and was like, okay, nope, he's pretty much over with. All right, so after missing out on an amazing play, okay, so after missing out on an amazing game from ARoss, an amazing closing game, I might add, I came in, the game was pretty much over, I was like, all right, I'm done, and apparently I missed a great combo, a very cool combo, and then we queued into one of his games only to see him, you know, suffer a defeat there, so I figured it was only fair for me to queue into another one of his games, and we will see, hopefully, some amazing magic worked in this deck. He said this is not the deck that I thought it was. This is something new that he's working on. It's still a work in process, as he says, and he actually he left out hoops and pools or whatever that Argonian is that allows you to pull whatever action you want out of the ether by shackling another creature. So yeah, he's still kind of working through some kinks. But once again, he is up against, in a mirror match, against another Telvanni list, and we will see how he fares against Apocalypse Black Rider, rank 79 in Legends.
And then continuing to
All right, Barbas. Interesting.
wars to fight, dragons to confront.
So Apocalypse going really heavy on the shut down, keep the danger, keep the damage off my face. But as we see, you know, ARoss running with Tazcad and Encano, and I mean, look at 8, 9, and 10. That is a heck of a curve, a late game curve there, and I think Apocalypse is in for a bit of a brutal journey here.
Just give me a name. I'm sure I don't have any idea who took your call.
Yeah, he'd need a guard down there. I mean, ARoss is probably going to be able to close it out by turn 9 at this rate. Removes the breakthrough from his own creature, but also takes away the possibility of a contract and the possibility of a card discount from Serial.
Right. It's nothing.
Like I said, I mean, Apocalypse stabilizing a bit here, but knowing what we know that's in ARoss's hand, I think we're going to see a ring out. Encano, well, if he rings out Encano, then he's going to have to wait an extra turn, so we might see him just play the Necromancer. Okay, so Apocalypse, this is a similar to what we've seen from Thiago. Apocalypse is running a Singleton Telvanni. Might even be the same list, who knows? Or something similar. Obviously, there are many ways to play Singleton Telvanni. And with that, with Morokai's appearance, it has put a hiccup in ARoss's momentum. But if he hits with the Knight and hits with the Lightning Bolt, that'd put him down to 12, and Kano knocks it down to 7. So, yeah, so probably not. He can't really make a mad dash for it.
I have many important.
He is going to re-enter Kano, though. Takes Morokai off the board. No! Takes the Mournhold Trader off the board. The only reason why you'd want to take Morokai off is if, as we've seen Thiago do to great effect, using doppelgangers and Night to Remembers and things to duplicate Morokai's effect. Interesting that Apocalypse chose to shore up that deck. Razzle, madazzle, 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 madazzle. Giving ARoss some reach and card draw. I mean, he's got a ton. He's got his Lightning Bolt. He's got Razum, and he's got Taz. All representing 14 points of damage. And a great use of the Knight of Order to free up to get those extra points of damage in. Mordecai does leave the board without being able to proc his effect again. And like I said, we now know that... Ooh, okay, guards in both lanes. Although with the Lightning Bolt, ARoss can remove that guard. And he could play the Flame Slinger as well. Which still leaves Razumadazzle and Tazcad, which those two together are not lethal. But Flameslinger, if she can stick for 2 turns. Alright, so he's going to switch to the lane. He's switching gears over to the field lane. Pushing there with Tazcad. And the Knight of Order is just going to lay down his Schwaaard and say, finish me off. Any one of you, really? Oh. Phew. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that was undignified. Okay, and Apocalypse with Siege.
You fight well.
Wow. Why did the cards go down and then come back up? He still has plenty now. Okay. Tazcad gets knocked down to a 4/4. Staff of Ice. I think that's going to shackle. No? Okay, I thought... And of course she's got the Mushroom Tower, no surprise there. Ultimate Heist. Oh yeah.
Fight well.
And that's it. Wow.
Time to take the offensive.
An impressive display. And really seeing just how effective. Yeah, it is. Oh, jeez. All the stuff. I mean, the Apocalypse is just... He really is. It is the Apocalypse. Got the 4 snakes, horsemen. Goodness gracious.
So I'm just having a quick look at this deck because I've not played it for a while. As you can see, it's had a bit of a patchy record in Arena. I think normally I'm good with Archer, but this one, for whatever reason, just didn't. The synergy's not been there. So I'm expecting some invade cards here because whenever you see BM colours in whatever deck is picked, whether it's Covenant or Guildsworn, most of the time on Versus Arena you get offered a lot of invade cards, and I've tried before like avoiding as many as I can apart from the removal like Crisis Begins, because removals can be quite hard to come by in Arena, but I try and avoid the standard invade cards apart from maybe the 5/3 Widow Daedra, which is just good for hitting with, but you often see people with a lot of invade cards when they're running BM colours in whatever deck they've picked, purely because that's what Arena offers, and it comes down to, do you pick all the weak cards and work around invade, which I've done in the past and lost dismally, or do you selectively pick invade cards without making it a very invade heavy deck? It's quite a hard balance. That's why I avoid playing BM itself in ladder unless I'm really desperate. And some of the other choices, sometimes you think, well, I'll give it a go, and then you get offered loads to invade again. So, okay, I think this is going to be a case of trading here. I'm in 2 minds about Hidden Trail. I mean, it does protect their creatures as well, but then again, it gives me some buff.
My family has endured.
Oh, he's getting quite beefy, isn't he? Yeah, I think that's better gone, because that's problematic, that card. It'd be nice to draw an animal. I mean, I do have, I think, 1 or 2 animals in here. I do love Stable Master, but she's still good even when she's not buffed. 2 minds here. Do I go for kind move. I mean, he will survive, and then she would stop the drain from happening. I mean, they're both undesirable on the opposite side of the board in their own different ways, aren't they? At least he'll survive both of those unless they have an item.
How clumsy.
My family has endured enough.
This isn't going too well at the moment, is it? I suppose I should go for taking the most damage off the board first.
I have your scent, and soon I'll have your blood.
I don't really want him to keep buffing all the time. I might try Bannerman next round. I mean, she tends to eat removal if people have any. It tends to be a bit extreme in Arena. You either get hardly any removal, or you can... I mean, at one deck I had 6 removal in. That was one of my better ones. It was an Empire deck, actually. And yet I've picked Tribunal before in Arena. It was dreadful. Hardly any removal at all. You'd think from Tribunal would get at least an edict, wouldn't you?
Feels like my work never ends.
Okay. That's a pain in the butt, not gonna lie.
Even the gods won't hear your screams.
Yeah, I think we'll
Follow me, men.
use her. Expecting them to trade, really.
All right, here.
Quite often in Arena, people will just keep delaying you and delaying you because they want you to run out of cards. And that's why having Drain and Guards is so important in Arena, because you've got, I think it's 30 cards. So the more you can delay your opponent, the more you can stand a chance of winning by default, because that opponent, if they run out of cards before you, then that's it. They'll lose by default.
They're coming to get me.
So I think I might put out... yes. And I'll have to trade into Bannerman, so I'm just thinking... Oh no, maybe not. I can't make my mind up today, can I? And I have to admit, I don't know if anyone else does this, but sometimes my hand slips and I just pick the wrong card and I'm like cringing. It might just be me being a clumsy devil. Who knows? I don't know. I'm having one of those nights where I can't talk properly. I just seem to jumble my words. Mind you, I'm post-migraine. That I tend to jumble my words when I've got a migraine. So I'm post-migraine, not thinking clearly. Probably not a good idea to be playing.
It's time to act.
And to the bargain, picking the wrong cards. Saying to myself, I'll pick that. And then picking the wrong one. I mean, how dumb's that? Never mind. At least I can clean up some of the stuff here. I'm in 2 minds about him. Probably best to use a firebrand, isn't it?
Time to fight.
And maybe set up. Let's have a think. Yeah, I'm in 2 minds about this. This will teach me to sit here trying to play when I'm not really in the thinking clearly stakes, am I?
Talia needs me.
Let's do this. Attack!
They're worse than a mud crab.
Talos! Eyes of all we...
That was a mess, wasn't it? I don't know.
You can't defeat me.
Yes, please give me some cards.
Don't make me hurt.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Khajiit will use their strength against them.
Really? I only want to kill them. It's not much to ask, is it? I think I'm going to have to... Let's have a think about this. Well, at least I've got a couple of easy trades. I'd like to get rid of 5th Legion, really, but I don't think I've got much choice, really.
Get your supplies here.
I do have more than one illicit butcher tonight, so I might as well take her.
Talos!
Hopefully I can ransack and get rid of that big Khajiit soon. I can't make my mind up, can I? I think that's probably going to be a better play because it keeps it alive.
Back to oblivion, monster.
Plus I got to hear back to Oblivion Monster, haven't I? And I've got to get rid of that 5th Legion because they're getting good value out of her. It's going to be a bit painful though, isn't it? The amount of damage I'm facing.
How clumsy! I'll see you dead. Don't make me hurt.
Ouch! Very much ouch. Oh my goodness. Nasty. Yippee not. Thank you, Nick Socks. Yeah, I can probably do both. Get thee gone, pain in the butt.
Hey, pulls off my clothes. Back to oblivion, monster.
I love it when it says that.
Quench your thirst, friend.
We've got to get rid of her. She's a pain in the butt. They've got far too much value out of her, but at least they're running low on draw.
How clumsy of you. I'll see you dead, weakling. Prepare yourself.
Saved by their aggression, I think. I mean, if can just about play for time, I can do that Will-o'-the-Wisp and buff it with the ogre.
Women will be free.
Yeah, just about got enough for Will-o'-the-Wisp. I think this is probably going to just save me unless they've got a bolt. That'd be nice with the ogre to claw back some health. Once I get that shaman on board, they're going to be a bit less keen to carry on, aren't they?
Die, weakling. The Oriole do not waste time chatting with mortals.
Yippee not. Well, I know what I'm doing. Sorry to kill you, Nick Socks, but needs must.
I only need one shot.
Get rid of you, matey. Get rid of you. Claw back health. Now it's a question of whether or not I can kill them before I run out of cards. All good, some skeevers.
Hit them hard.
I might have to get rid of that gate just in case they've got anything that synergizes with it. I don't want anything getting more health. Oh dear, that could be nasty, couldn't it? Oh good, sheer point. Yay! Okay, they've got 12 left. I'm going to hold back there. I don't want to help them with improving their choices. But it's looking a lot more promising now, isn't it? Thank goodness their aggression helped me to get that will-o'-the-wisp in time.
Clear your mind.
Okay. Let's get rid of him. Thank you, SharePoint. I'm just going to go for it now, really.
I've been killing since I was 16.
It has been an engaging hunt. This one thanks you.
Phew, that was tough.
You won't escape alive.
For nothing.
Really, I don't know if it's just the gauntlet or what, but orc decks have been many and frequent.
You get one shot. Make it good. End of the road.
And so far, with very few exceptions, they have taken the upper hand. So we will see if Kfluffy can stabilize.
My arrows shall fly true.
Gonna take out the...
We press on.
Oh, wow. Relentless Raider. There we go. No, yes. Thinking Firebrands. My brain has turned to mush. That is why this is the last episode of today, or the last game for today. It's gonna be a very busy week next week, and I think I've just been underlying stressed about it, and it's just kind of worn me out a little bit.
Keep your distance.
I'll be back in form once once this week is over, I think. But a preemptive shout out, thank you, or not preemptive, I guess this is the third episode this week. Thank you to Brave Carriot for providing some games this week, doing some spectating and commentating. And yeah, it looks like Kfluffy's going to, oh yeah, he's going to meet the same fate as many others who have gone up against these gobos. Or not gobos, orcos, not even orcos.
Time to fight. Let's do this. Make your peace. We must remain steadfast.
I can take a pit bait weakness.
Wow. Okay, so I will admit, I saw Kfluffy getting rushed down, and I wrote it off. I only stayed in because I thought, okay, so now I feel really bad. Because the reason you didn't see my commentary is because I really wasn't commenting. I stumbled around a little bit. I saw Kfluffy getting rushed down by another orc deck, and I thought for sure he was a goner. But it's Kfluffy. And it looks like he is about to stabilize. When Duskfang turns into Onfang, Odaving, or Nahagliv, who looks like it's going to survive this turn, is going to be able to heal, and Kfluffy is going to stabilize against a Goblin deck, which is something we really haven't seen a lot happening in this gauntlet. So Dawnfang being huge. And then, of course, we'll see Night Talon Lord next turn. It doesn't have a squish yet, but a Night Talon Lord is going to... And wow! Fantastic game by Kfluffy. For real, we are going to close this episode out with a game from Jshadz, who I will stick with no matter what, so that we do not run the risk of bailing too early on a triumphant comeback. Although right now, he does seem to have the advantage with his crabs.
Talking mud crab merchant. Read my lips.
Guessing he's going to keep the gatekeeper. Hey, I guessed one right. First time for everything, right? Yeah, he is definitely has the advantage over Julo. Oh, Julo. Mages Guild Associate. Oh, that sounds awkwardly like professional, doesn't it? You know, you've got the Resplendent, you've got the Unflappable or whatever, and then you've got the Mages Guild Associate. Not even Mages Guild Assistant or something, the Associate. It's just a very formal title. Either way, Jshadz definitely on the aggressive, making a decent dent, but the Associate is going to heal back. So it's weird, you're seeing a card usually that only shows up in really, really dedicated Orc decks. That 2-1, that's, I want to make sure I always have a deck in play for my Headhunter or my, the 6/5, 5/6, yeah, you know who I'm talking about, the Orc that becomes much bigger if you already have an Orc on board. So it's very strange to see a lot of non-Orcs being run right now. Oh, that Fell the Mighty is going to be big next turn to take out that Monastic Champion. Yes! Another good guess. Is going to swing with great vigor. Now, unless the Associate is... Yeah, I was going to say, unless he's running the Pillaging Tribune,
I'll do what I can.
he doesn't have to worry about... Jshadz doesn't have to worry about him healing for 6 when he hits.
The war claws earn their pay.
Alright. So Fell the Mighty, going to be great, but that leaves only one card that... Well, no, he actually could play both the Relentless Raiders or Circular Initiate. Which, if he's now going to shift into Protection mode, that may be what he does in order to contest that 3/3. So yeah, the winds of fortune have shifted a little bit here, and Jshadz, with a good hand, I would say. Ooh, no answer for that spawning in the field lane or shadow lane. Ooh, and Divine for wow, and yet Jshadz is in what we would call peril right now because he can't trade with the Slaughterfish and still transform his Circle Initiative. So is he just going to try to go for it? He might be. He does have the Sentinel Reclaimer.
Well, let's see if we can find something useful.
May the fates smile on Kaji.
I think he's got it. I think he's going to come up just short. Oh no! Oh, good game, Jshadz. Good game. Boy, that was so close. One more Magicka. If you had the ring, would have had it. And we can only hope that the Associate makes this a clean kill. Doesn't seem to be intent on doing so.
Chimera, spirit of the sky, guide us.
Although,
Close ranks, let nothing through.
probably, I guess, I mean, granted it doesn't change the outcome, but
Please excuse Kaji.
Thank you.
The Red Orange demand your death.
I don't know what just happened there, but good game, Jshadz, good game. And you took the loss with dignity there, and almost pulled it out. One short. That is heartbreaking. But that is unfortunately where we're going to have to leave it today. I think that's the second video in a row we've had to end on a defeat. But you know what? That is life. That is life. We lose battles, but we do not lose the war, and we do not give up, do not give in, do not surrender. All that good jazz. They sound like platitudes, but really, that's what we learn. We learn from the wins, we learn from the losses. We celebrate the wins, and we appreciate what transpired in the losses. And yeah, okay, I'm going to stop trying to wax philosophical because I sound like a complete moron at this point. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those who have put your oh my goodness gracious, help me, who have put your prowess on display. He was hoping, so Jshadz was sticking with it. He was letting the guy play all his stuff out and do whatever because he was hoping for a prophecy lightning bolt to pull the game off. Could have happened. He did get a prophecy off of it. It just wasn't the right one. So very wise. Otherwise, I think he might not have wanted to necessarily see all the, ooh, I'm going to put this card and play this card, instead of just finishing it off. And yeah, came very close to finishing it off. Did get that prophecy trigger. It just wasn't, like I said, the right one. Anyway, but I do appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for sticking with me through some going cross-eyed, brain melting out of my ears moments. And until next time, keep playing.